This year, we celebrate Porsche Club of America's 70th anniversary. Let's learn about some key moments in the club's history. It all started with the flashing of headlights in silent greeting. Washington, D.C.-based commercial artist and 356 owner Bill Schaller would exchange flashes with other Porsche drivers on the road, and he was convinced this basic camaraderie could become a community. The first unofficial gathering of what became the Porsche Club of America happened February 8, 1955 at Bill's house. The first official club meeting was Blackie's House of Beef in D.C. on September 13th. 3 months later, the club published the first edition of the Porsche Panorama magazine. It didn't take long for the Porsche Parade to emerge either. The first one was held in 1956 in Gaithersburg, Maryland. In the early years, there was one production model, the 356. The small, svelte sports car was born out of a converted sawmill in post-war Austria before production was moved to Stuttgart in Germany, where Porsche is headquartered today. Discerning auto enthusiasts, many whom became PCA members, loved it. They loved it so much that they started attending driving tours in Europe, international Treffen events organized by Porsche. Bill Schaller brought 80 PCAers, the majority of whom ordered brand new Porsches to drive on the trip.
And that's Wayne Agee from Youngstown, Ohio, in his beautiful new convertible. This is a picture of the first PCA rally to Stuttgart and the International Porsche Treffen, Murano, Italy, in 1958.
This arrangement continued through 1968. Today, European Treffen trips continue, and the club organizes 2 Treffen North America events per year. The 356 was 15 years old as the club closed the curtains on its first decade. In 1964, members got their first taste of what would become Porsche's icon, the 911. The 356 shared more than passing resemblance to contemporary Volkswagens, but the 911 was thoroughly modern and all Porsche. The iconic sports car was prepared to take Porsche and PCA into the next decade and beyond. By the mid-1970s, PCA had become the community for Porsche owners. Around that time, Volkswagen canceled its involvement in building an affordable sports car with Porsche, which continued the development on its own. That car was the 924, replacing the 914 in 1977 and becoming Porsche's new entry-level model. The water-cooled era had arrived. A side effect? The new model spurred PCA's membership growth and even more when Porsche released the 944 in 1982. Betty Jo Turner was now fully in stride as editor of Panorama since 1969, with husband Leonard becoming the magazine's photographer. Limited to one-color covers, efforts from artists like noted cartoonist Howard Shoemaker and Mike Wilford were comic relief. From 1956's 12 pages, Pano was now reaching 100-plus pages regularly, with full-color covers by mid-1982. The April 1977 Panorama is notable. The first photo of the new V8-powered 928 is wrapped around the whole cover, enticing readers to flip to the feature story. It was a time when Pano's short production schedule allowed it to beat all other magazines to print after press launches. By 1980, Porsche had decided to discontinue the 911. When American Peter Schutz was hired as CEO in 1981, he met with lead engineer Helmut Bott to discuss the production chart for upcoming models and noticed the 911 production was set to stop that year. He grabbed a marker and extended the 911 line across the page, onto the wall, and out the door. The rest is history. National tech events grew in this period. War Bonnet Region Tech had begun in 1969 and was going strong. It was followed by Rain Bonnet in 1977 and Zone 1 Tech Tactics in 1981, the latter which attracted Porsche World VIP speakers. Tech Tactics remains a national program today. At the Porsche Parade, the Concours d'Elegance had established itself as the week-long event's premier activity due to the number of quality Porsches, the competition, and the summer show car vibes. The overall winner of the Concours would be awarded a trophy known as the Manhattan, which was donated by Washington, D.C. area Porsche dealer Manhattan Motors. The award was retired in 1996 after a variety of Porsche models had won it. The next decade through 1994 was marked by declining new Porsche sales while PCA continued to grow. Porsche introduced the 944 Turbo in 1986 and the 968 in 1992, but sales were decreasing by the late 80s and mid-90s. Fortunately, Porsche Club of America continued to welcome new members. The increasing number and variety of sports cars on the road, coupled with decades-old depreciated used ones, refined the entry-level Porsche, broadening the club's demographic and accommodating its interests. After 30 years in existence, the club was experiencing noticeable growth on existing programs and starting new ones. This period saw non-competitive events appear, such as guided driving tours, golf tournaments, 5K runs, and more. Porsche Parade increasingly catered to the families of members, in addition to the members themselves. New programs included activities for kids and gimmick rallies, while autocross programs and high-performance driver education track days matured into well-oiled machines. What did other clubs have that PCA didn't? A club racing program. Fortunately, in December of 1989, former PCA national president, racing enthusiast, and Potomac region member Alan Friedman was in a position to do something about it, with support from the club's president at the time, Dennis Tovson. Alan recognized that some PCA members were joining Sports Car Club of America and Sports Car Vintage Racing Association to race, so he formally proposed PCA Club Racing to Dennis 2 years later. After the Potomac region's members founded PCA Club Racing and organized the first 3 races for 1992, the Rocky Mountain region pulled a last-minute dramatic upset and slid a 4th race in at Denver's Second Creek Raceway, which took place the week before Potomac region's inaugural PCA Club Racing event at Summit Point Raceway. Until we hear otherwise, we'll assume no grudges are held. In 1989, Porsche released the 964 generation of the 911, giving the sports car its very first major update, which included the first all-wheel drive production 911. Relatively few 964s were sold, but the car was a major step to modernize Porsche's lineup. Just how far would Porsche go to keep up with the times? The mid-90s was the last gasp for Porsche's air-cooled 911. After thoroughly updating the icon with the 964, the automakers changed even more with 1995's 993 generation. The 993 employed significant cosmetic updates in addition to mechanical changes. Despite this, it was less expensive than the 964. PCA members loved the 993. But revolution was in the air. Porsche launched the water-cooled 996 generation of the 911 and its close cousin, the mid-engine Boxster. Members were incensed that air-cooled engines were regulated to history. Then came a four-door SUV, the Cayenne. Traditionalists balked at the time, but the new vehicles opened a whole new market for Porsche. In the early days, PCA Club Racing was meant for nearly stock Porsches. You might be surprised to learn that full interiors were retained and drivetrains remained stock. Safety requirements? A roll bar. By 2000, the league had about 1,000 racers, and the cars had changed. Roll cages and other safety measures became requirements, while full interiors became a thing of the past. Many racing classes were introduced with both stock or modified drivetrains. This year, PCA Club Racing started live streaming races on YouTube for the public's enjoyment and to reach future PCA Club racers. Members were in for a treat in late 2004 and 2005. Another new generation of the 911, the 997, started hitting dealer showrooms, and Porsche debuted the 2006 911 Carrera S Club Coupe, a limited edition model celebrating PCA's 50th anniversary. Only the club's members had an opportunity to purchase 48 of them, while one was given away in a member raffle, and Porsche Cars North America displays another at its Atlanta headquarters. The end of the decade was marked by a recession, a true test of the value PCA gives members. Though Porsche sales growth slowed again, and several car clubs lost members, our club continued to grow and position itself for success. In the 2000s, PCA hired full-time member service employees, an executive secretary, and moved into an office space in Virginia. In 2010, the club bought an office in Columbia, Maryland, where it still is today. Executive Director Vu Guen and a cadre of full-time employees work there to support the club and its regions as it grows. One event that has sprouted from volunteer leadership with backing from the PCA National Office was Treffen. Not Porsche's event, but PCA's Treffen North America. Space Coast region members David and Ginny O'Neill borrowed the formula from another popular destination event, made it biannual, and gave it a luxury makeover. The inaugural Treffen Lake Tahoe in 2016 was a hit and is still running strong today. Members visited the Allegheny Mountains of Virginia for spring Treffen this year, with a trip to Jackson Hole happening in the fall. From 1985 to 2005, the club doubled primary membership from 26,000 to 54,000 members. Since 2005, membership doubled again to 107,000 primary members, plus more than 50,000 co-members, making us the largest single-mark car club in the world. In addition to Treffen, PCA met this growth spurt with new events and programs. Works Reunion Monterey in 2014. Works Reunion Amelia Island in 2017. And Unstock in 2022 all provided outlets for the club's growing membership and Porsche-curious enthusiasts. In 2016, with direction from PCA National President Karen Cooper, the club created the PCA Juniors program to involve the Porsche-loving children of members in club activities. The boldest move of the 2010s might just be the redesign of the Porsche Panorama, which debuted for the July 2013 edition. Recently hired editor Pete Stout took the reins of the magazine during a months-long transition period, with legendary editor Betty Jo Turner preparing the reformatted issue with Road and Track's longtime former art director Richard Barron. For the first time, Pano's page size met industry standards, great for telling stories and attracting advertisers and sponsors. Since he took over in 2017, editor Rob Sass has expanded the scope of Panorama with annual special issues that intently focus on Porsche's subjects related to destinations and design. 2015 was a banner year for the club. It was PCA's 60th anniversary, and much like the 50th, Porsche built a car just for members, the 911 GTS Club Coupe, which had the unique honor of debuting the 991 generation Carrera GTS. What could Porsche possibly have planned for this year? Over the past decade, the club made its mark digitally and now has hundreds of thousands of followers tuning into various social media platforms, YouTube, PCA.org, and the weekly email newsletter eBreak News. Through these channels, followers have learned about some of our most recent programs, such as the PCA Sim Racing and Treffen SC, an annual ocean cruise with Porsche-loving friends. As we look back on Porsche Club of America's distant and recent history and recognize its accomplishments, here's to another 70 years of prosperity, which will only be possible with the continued enthusiasm of the club's members, volunteers, and staff.